Hello everyone, welcome to the Zen or Mobile Yoga YouTube channel. Today we are going to do yoga for the feet. If you suffer from pain or cramps in the foot very often, there could be one of several reasons why. It could be because you have fallen arches, or aka being flat-footed. Weak muscles in the feet or misalignment can also be a common problem. It could also be poor circulation that causes this ongoing pain, or even bunions or plantar fasciitis. Although the foot care I'm going to show you today is going to relieve a lot of these pains, it's very important that you check with your doctor first if you have persistent or ongoing foot pain. The human foot is very complex with 26 bones, over 30 joints, 100 ligaments, muscles, and tendons put together for each foot, as well as over 200,000 nerve endings on each foot. Ticklish? For the exercises that we are going to do today, one of them will involve using a yoga strap. You could also use something like a dog leash, and also a tennis ball will be for another exercise. I'm also really excited to announce the debut of Mr. Bones. See him in the corner there? On the Zen or Mobile Yoga YouTube channel. He's going to be showing us his feet today. And even though his name today is Mr. Bones, it might change in the future. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to start out by taking a look at the lower half of Mr. Bones here. He's very excited. And just take a look. So I mentioned in the intro that we have over 30 joints in each foot. I believe there's 33 to be exact. So you can see there's the ankle, there's the heel bone, and then each part of the toes has their own little joints. So that's a lot. We depend on the feet a lot, and we don't always give them the care that they need. So that's going to change today. The first thing we're going to take a look at is your alignment when you're standing. Now, I talk a lot about alignment to my students, and normally we would be looking at the knees, the hips, but it all starts with the feet. So what you want to do is get on your mat, and this could be on your mat or off your mat anytime throughout the day, and just have a little bit of awareness of how you're standing. So we want our feet to be parallel, and we always want to be pressing the ball mounds of the big toes and the pinky toes into the mat evenly, as well as our heel. So we want to say that we have 4 points on each foot that we want to balance our weight evenly in. Some of us have collapsed ankles. So you taking a look at your ankles is what I want you to do next. So as you're standing here, stand naturally and just take a look at where your feet are, where your ankles are. Maybe you lean on the outside of your feet, and just try to get that weight evenly distributed. By pressing on the ball mounds of the big toes, that's going to help if you're flat-footed or have collapsed ankles. That's going to press into the ground and cause an arch in the foot. And of course, we know that what happens in the feet affects the ankles, which affects the knees, which affects the hips, which affects the lower back, so on and so on. You get the picture. By pressing the ball mounds of the big toes, you're also going to strengthen the muscles in the big toes. I know we don't focus a lot about muscles in the feet, but they are really important, especially if you suffer from ailments like bunions. So bunions are about alignment of the big toes. And to further strengthen these muscles, you can also practice picking things up with your feet, starting with your yoga mat. So just spread your toes and act as if you're picking up. And you'll want to do this, at least 10 times for each foot, say. You always want to do everything balanced, so if you're doing one foot, make sure you do the other. You'll definitely notice a difference in your ability and your flexibility in one foot versus the other. Our second exercise for the feet is going to involve using a strap. So go ahead and grab your strap. Whatever you're using, fold it in half to make it as skinny as possible and place it in between the first and second toes. And then you want to cross the strap over. And what we're looking to do is create space between the first toes and the second toes. And what we're going to do is keeping your weight on your heels, lift the toes, spread the toes, and come back down. So we're spreading the toes while keeping the heels grounded, and then coming back down. You might even feel like you're not making a difference in the way that you're moving your toes, but you are. Take 5 to 7 breaths here, or do it 5 to 7 times. It's helping you align the big toes, getting them where they should be, parallel with your feet, and then gaining the muscles by spreading the toes apart. And you can practice this at least once a day if you have the time to do that, but as often as possible. The next thing we're going to focus on is stretching the tops of the feet. So you can use a wall if you'd like, or just practice your balance, have a focus point. And we're just going to press on the tops of the toes, pressing the tops of the toes into the ground, and you'll right away feel a stretch. We're stretching the muscles and the tendons in the top of the foot. You want to do it for 5 to 7 breaths. We have flexion going on in the ankle, so we're stretching the ankle. You don't always need to be in a yoga pose, say a cobra pose, to feel this type of stretch. You can do it standing just about anywhere. So let me do it from the side. You're going to bend the toes, press them into the ground, and press the back of the foot towards the front of the foot until you get that gentle stretch in the top of the foot in through the ankle. And you'll do this for 5 to 7 breaths on each side. The next couple of exercises we're going to do to help with circulation of the feet. We're going to do it sitting down on the mat. You can do it sitting at your desk, sitting at your dining room table, sitting on the couch. And basically you can do it as often as you want, as many times of the week as you want. And it just involves taking the insides of the feet and tapping them together. You're just going to gently tap the arches. And then the other one is just shaking the feet. Your feet have to be relaxed in order to do this, to release the joints, the ankle joints. You might even get a nice tingling sensation in the feet after doing those exercises from the tapping and waking up the nerve endings at the bottom of the feet. Towards the end of this video, you'll see that we'll be sitting in Dandasana, or sitting just with our legs out in front of us, and we're going to do some movements with spreading the toes, trying to build up muscle in the toes. If you're not ready for that step yet, you can start here. And what you want to do is take your fingers and just place them in between each toe. So it looks something like this. We're just spreading the toes apart, and then you're going to want to relax the ankle. And I like to take this as an opportunity to do some ankle circles and also maybe a little foot massage for myself. And what I do for that is I take my thumbs and I press on the pad of the foot underneath the second and third toes. So I just put some pressure in that spot for a few moments. Our feet bear a lot of weight during the day, and this kind of just gives the muscles a release, create some space. You can even go down the arch of the foot, massage the heel, squeeze the Achilles tendon behind the ankle, and then rub the top of the feet, coming to each toe, and you might even want to squeeze and pull each toe on the foot. And this is also good for circulation as well. And you want to do both feet and just do it as often as you can. Next, we're going to sit on the floor in Dandasana. So your legs are out in front of you, your arms are along the sides of your body. Go ahead and sit on a pillow or a blanket if you need a little bit of elevation in the hips. And what we're going to do is basically just look at our feet for a moment. Notice the symmetry in the feet, or notice any unevenness in the feet, so any similarities or differences. And just be aware of that for a moment. And then what I want you to do is just see if you can spread the toes apart. You'll notice that you might have a toe, kind of like my pinky toe on the one foot, that just doesn't like to let go of its toe friend next to it, and that's okay. Release, open, release, open, release. Do it one more time. Open and release. And then we're going to isolate the big toes. So press the toes down and see if you can move just the big toes. As you're looking at yourself doing this, it might look a little creepy, but trust me, it's really important and it works for building up the muscle. If you can even do circles with your toes, I cannot do them on my own, but if you can move your toes in a circle, go ahead and do that without touching them. See if you can move them in a circle. And then we're going to release the toes and we're going to hold the big toes together and we're going to spread the toes without the big toes. So spread, release, spread, release. Try to get as much space as you can. Don't forget to breathe. We're going to do it one more time. Spread and release. Good. Now you can stay in the same spot, but I'm going to move so you can see my feet. We're going to have our legs straight still, and I want you to take your foot and do exactly what we did in the first exercise. Press through that ball mound, push through the ball mound of the big toe, and we're going to act as if we're grabbing something and coming back. Spread, grab, come back. So push and pull, putting your foot into flexion and extension. Flexion, extension. Moving the ankle in flexion and extension. Good. Just do the best you can. You might notice after doing this for a while, the muscles in your feet will be strong enough to where it'll just go back and forth like a wave. And then do the other one. Just do it 5 to 7 times. So push, pull, push, try to do it without moving your lips or the toes of your other foot. It gets interesting. Grab your tennis ball for the next exercise. We're going to do something that's especially helpful for people with a tight plantar fascia, that band on the bottom of the foot that goes across the arch. It's attached from the heel all the way up to the toes. Some people suffer from plantar fasciitis for different reasons, and this is going to be really helpful. If you are in a lot of pain, you can do this sitting down, but you can also do it standing up. If you're going to do it standing up, make sure you're next to a wall. We're going to put the foot on top of the tennis ball, starting with the front of the arch. So here we have the back of the arch, roll the ball to the front of the arch, and we're just going to gently place all of our weight on top of the tennis ball. So the other heel is going to lift. And you're going to know that you're doing this in the right spot because you're going to see white dots, which are your joints, coming through the top of the foot. You'll feel the bones spreading apart. Just do it enough to where you can feel it. You don't want to be in pain. Take your 5 to 7 breaths here. And then gently release when you're done. Lower that other heel. And then you're going to roll the ball to the back of the arch. Don't put it on the heel. We want it in front of the heel, the very back of the arch. And then go ahead and place all of your weight on the tennis ball. Take your 5 to 7 breaths. And then release. The last thing you can do with the tennis ball is just roll it back and forth from the toes to the heel. Make sure you do it on the other side and do this at least once a day. The last thing we're going to do is come to a thunderbolt position. So just sitting on your heels, and what we're going to do is curl the toes under, sit back, and try to soften and breathe. This is going to be very painful at first for some of you, but that's okay. Even if you put a little bit of pressure and just have the toes curled under, over time, you will be able to put pressure on the toes. And I want you to just breathe here 5 to 7 breaths. Thanks for joining us today. I hope that you can find some of these exercises to be helpful. Remember, you don't have to be in pain to start doing yoga for the feet. You can do it for preventative measures. Our feet have a lot of important jobs and do a lot of work for us, so it's really important that we pay attention to them and take care of them. Namaste.